Yeah, very much so. Brings us on to our final heat of the 100-metre free. Ben Riddle in 0. 1 is Cody Dunyan. 2, Conor Ferguson. Robert Powell in 3. Max McCusker 4. Finn McGeever 5. Evan Bailey 6. Adam Colgan in 7. Sam Winston in 8. And Adam Geddes in 9. Again, Max McCusker, the only one of these to have an entry time sub 50 at 49.51. He's in lane 4.
Yeah, Max was part of those relays last summer at European Championships in Budapest. He's part of those Irish relays. He actually trains over in the States, in Florida State. So he'll be looking to make some international teams, make Europeans later this summer. So looking for a good swim out of him this morning and hopefully get into a final and get in a good race with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, promises to be a very good final in this competition later on today. Already seen from some of those heat times that there's going to be probably plenty involved in a finish of that race this evening, and you'd have to think if we adding in the likes of McCusker and McGeever as you'd expect them to, it's going to just add further quality to it.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely one of the events that's probably most hotly contested at these Irish Championships this year and last year. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. It's interesting watching the boys when there's a bit of a delay here. Some of them are putting on their jackets again to try and stay warm before the race, which is just such an important thing to do. Trying to conserve that body heat so that you're primed and ready to go once that starter whistle goes.
Look to be ready to go now for the final heat of the 100-metre free.
Okay, here we go. Final prelim freestyle. I got to run to catch up with these guys. Taking off there, lane number 4, that's Max McCusker, dolphin swimmer, 0.59 reaction speed, fastest one in the field. Look at this, folks. He's coming through now, 35 meters in 15 seconds. What's going on here? What's going on here? 23 to the feet. Whoop. There he goes, 23.54, just slightly slower than Bain. Nice breakout though, did you see that? Any youngsters watching, look at that. This is 100 freestyle, folks, and he's a good body length up now as we come through about 80 meters. So it's Max McCusker from Dolphin. He's going to throw down. It could be a 49. Could be a 49, sub 50 maybe. Yep, 49.42 takes the win. Second is Robbie Powell from the National Centre here in Dublin on a 51.16. And then Evan Bailey from New Ross, the youngster, coming through 51.46. Nice job, 100 freestylers.
Yeah, serious swim there from Max McCusker, 49.42. That was a really impressive effort from him in lane 4.
Yeah, that was a brilliant swim from Max there. You can really see he's training over in America, so he represents Florida State NCAAs this year, so they have to really work on their underwater swimming because they swim short course yards. And you could really see off this dive and the turn that he was maximising those underwater and that breakout. That's a really strong swim from him in the heats. He took it out strong and he came back strong as well, so it'll be really looking forward to see what he can do this evening.
The water as well, so he must have been happy going sub 26. Moves on to the third heat. Bryden Byrne, Alexander McMullen, Patrick Sandstrom, Conor Johnson, Max McCusker, Conor FITZGERALD, Morgan Berryman, John Mulhall, Michael Keogh and Liam O'Connor coming thick and fast. These 50-metre heats. Don't have actually lane 2 unoccupied here. Patrick Sandstrom not taking up this engagement, they're just standing down the moment.
Just waiting for the swimmers to get set there. Max wasn't quite ready, so they told the swimmers to stand down and they're about to set off now.
Okay, here we go. We're only missing one swimmer, Patrick Sandstrom from Leander, not in the mix. We got the two Bangor boys out in the corner. They'll be having a good old race at this. But look out, Max McCusker. He is absolutely moving on this one. His entry time of a 24.2. The 23-year-old, let's see what he can do. Looks like FITZGERALD's going to be second. 23.9. Nice swim on that 50 fly. Second, Conor FITZGERALD on a 25.99. And then third, we have a 26.4 for Conor Johnson from Kilkenny. Berryman just outside that there with a 26.8. Nice swim.
Yeah, very impressive from Max McCusker. 23.9. Breaking that 24-second barrier.
Very powerful swim from Max after a great 100 freestyle earlier in the session where he was under the consideration standard for Europeans. So he's obviously off to a flying start this morning.
Here at the National Aquatic Centre for the Day 2 finals of the 2022 Irish Open Championships. I'm delighted to be joined again by National Performance Director John Rudd. John, another very exciting morning session we've just encountered there in the heats. What did you take from it?
Well, we've now got 5 athletes that have done the consideration time for the European Juniors, and all 5 of those athletes achieved the times in the heats. So it's exactly what we're looking for from our up-and-coming athletes of the future, so we're really pleased with that. Another athlete made a cut for the European Senior Championships, Max McCusker in the 100 free. So you've got to take that in the morning. It's good stuff, and I think the revised selection policies where we've forced people to look at fast swimming in the morning, you can see that. There's no athletes flopping around and doing just enough to make the finals in the evening. They're all making committed swims, and that's great to see, and we need that.
And Nick was suggesting on commentary these consideration times, especially for the younger athletes, you have to qualify with a time during the heats and then onto the finals. You might be able to, I suppose, explain that to some people watching that mightn't understand.
Yeah, it's actually slightly different to that. So we have a consideration standard, and they can achieve that in the heats or the finals. If they do it in the heats, it's done, because that's what we want. We want to see them commit in at 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, if they don't achieve the time in the heats, there's a time that they've got to be within for them to have the chance to do it again in the final. So it prevents athletes from floating up and down, taking the morning too easy, not really stimulating for a great final swim in the evening, and ultimately not learning what international swimming is going to be about. Because, like I said yesterday, our swimmers have got to be delivering first thing in the morning to get through the rounds. So if they don't get it in the morning, they've got to be within a certain percentage, or they've drawn a line under themselves. And so we've got 1 or 2 that just missed it, but were within the fraction that they needed to be to have another pop again tonight.
And looking at the 100-metre freestyle, for example, 5 very competitive heats, and you have, as you mentioned before, Max, but even in that third heat, say, Callum and David Thompson going at each other pretty much from the first stroke in. You know, that must be something that you must enjoy as watching this on, that the two of them are spurring each other on to get that faster time.
Yeah, it's because there's so much to swim for. You know, the likes of Callum Bain and Jordan Sloan and Dave Thompson, you know, they're trying to make a Commonwealth Games team. And then you have Max McCusker and Robbie Powell and the other guys trying to make a Europeans team. But between them, they're all pushing each other on. And there's some depth there. And let's bear in mind that neither Shane Ryan nor Jack McMillan, potentially our leading 200 freestylers, are competing at the competition. You can see the depth that we're creating. That's a really tough A final to qualify for. You know, when you think that there's, you know, 3 out of each heat are almost certain to get in, but who's going to be the 10th guy? It's pretty tough, and it's just what we need for our relays. And having our first relay at the Olympics in Tokyo for best part of 50 years, I think has really spurred everybody on as to what relay swimming can do for them, but for Irish swimming as well.
Very nicely towards this senior final, and as you mentioned, when you're seeing the likes of Finn McGeever in lane 0, Evan Bailey out in 8, Paddy Johnson in 9, you know we're in for a very strong heat here now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a really fast final. It's stacked. We're going to have Max and Callum, the 2 probably more sprint specialists, are going to take this out hard, this race out hard, and then we're going to see if they can drag the rest of the boys too in the second 50. And hopefully we'll see a good few guys swim sub 50, and that'll put them in a really strong position for putting a relay together for the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, but also for the European Championships in Rome. So all these guys will be wanting to swim fast, but hoping each other swim fast as well.
Yeah, very much so. This is hopefully one of those that they're going to keep spurring each other on here. And the way they line up as they've been coming out there in lane 9, Paddy Johnson, as I alluded to, from Ards, the 21-year-old. Finn McGeever in lane 0. In 8 is Evan Bailey from New Ross. In 1 is Dermot Sutton from NCL. 7, Robert Powell, the 400-metre freestyle winner from last night. He's in 7. In 2 is Jack Grace from Limerick. In 6 is David Thompson from NCU. In 3 is Jordan Sloan, also from NCU. In 5 is Callum Bain from Cookstown, and Max McCusker is in lane 4 from Dolphin. He was 49.42 this morning, which was the only man to be sub 50, but as you say, perhaps the adrenaline of the final, the fact that all these swimmers are in amongst each other, you'd like to hope that potentially we might see 3 or 4 of them go under that 50-second mark.
Yeah, definitely. Callum Bain, lane 5, he's 50.1 is his PB, so it'd be nice to see him under. And Jordan's been 49 before, so hopefully under, and then drag Davy Thompson along as well.
Fast and furious coming
Folks,
up.
I don't even want to look at the sheet here. This is going to be so fast. I'm so excited. I hope they can get under 50 seconds. 2 centre lanes, McCusker and Bain. Now Bain was out pretty fast, 23.44. Look out for Sloan. Look out for Thompson. These guys looking for Commonwealth Games status. So we have lane number 5 coming through, Callum Bain, 23.4. I think he's going to be 23.2, 23.4 again. So we're on it. We're right on it. Who's going to bring it home, though? Can Thompson and Sloan? Sloan's looking pretty good for 3rd, but it's a battle. Look at this, 25 metres to go. Race leader now, Max McCluster coming through. Still in the mix. Sloan making a move. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Thompson still in about 3rd or 4th. But it's all the way through for Max. He's going to win it. He's going to be at 49. Who else is with him? 49.67 wins it. Bain 2nd, 50.0. 3rd, Sloan on a 50.4. And then Thompson on a 50.9. Nice swim, gentlemen.
Frenetic stuff there in the 100-metre final, and it goes the way of Max McCusker. 49.67, the only man again to go sub 50, and that strength in that final 50 was there really evident to see.
Yeah, definitely. Him and Callum both got a really strong start off the dive and through their breakout, the first 15 metres. Callum was leading at 50, 23.4, but Max was really powerful underwaters, and you see him come off that wall, utilise that, and was breathing every 2 on the last 50, then got his head down for the last 5 metres to take the win in that event.
Yeah, Callum Bain 50.05, a really courageous swim in 2nd. Jordan Sloan, Jack Grace near side in lane 2 swam a stormer as well in 50.7 to come through for 4th. Robert Powell was there, David Thompson, all of them sub 51. But in the end of the day, it was Max McCusker that was the strongest on show, and him and Bain were really in control of that race for the majority of it.
Yeah, they're both, as I said, well, definitely Callum is a 50 specialist, and Max is very powerful on that 50 as well, so they probably have a little bit more natural and easy speed than those guys, and Max was able to bring that home in the second 50 as well, so he's in great form. I think at the time that he went this morning was under the consideration time for the European Championships, so hopefully he'll be on the plane to that. I think Evan Bailey there coming 8th in that final was another PB from this morning, and it's under the European Junior qualification or consideration standard as well, so another great swim from the youngster Evan Bailey from New Ross, training with Fran Ronan, so now, which we should see some fast swimming. We've got Max McCusker, who's fresh off winning that 100 freestyle earlier on in the session, is the fastest, is the only guy to have gone sub 24 this morning, so be looking for him to see if he can improve on his time and see how fast he can go. A lot of these guys actually were racing in the 100 freestyle, so they're doubling up. It's not just Max that's doubling up here. We have Killian Colvin is also doubling up. Yeah, and Conor FITZGERALD, the 16-year-old, is doing that double as well. So quite a few of these guys have already raced this evening, so it'll be how they're maximising their recovery so that they're ready to go in this final.
And now we're going to move on to the 50-metre butterfly final for the men's, our final event of the day, of what's been an excellent day here at the Irish Open Championships of 2022, the Day 2 finals. Now this could be a pulsating affair at that. Looking at the names, we've had Max McCusker, who's already taken out the 100-metre freestyle, which was a deep race at that earlier on this evening. On times, you'd have to think he's going to go and double up here.
Yeah, he's definitely the favourite on paper. You even saw on that 100 freestyle, it was that off that dive, he was so explosive, and him and Callum Bain, who is also a very good 50 fly swimmer, but he's not swimming it here at this meet. But they're really, really powerful, those underwaters off the dive to first 15. So look for Max to be probably ahead of the field by the time it gets to 15, and he'll try to be pulling away the whole way through the race. Swimming sub 24 for the 50 fly is fairly moving, so it's an impressive swim this morning, so hopefully he can move that on and go a little bit quicker tonight.
Yeah, well, that will be the aim for him. To be honest, if he was to match or improve on that morning time, you'd have to think it's going to be very difficult for one of these fellow swimmers to go and beat him. That being said, with the likes of Alex McClellan-Maher, Charlie Eatwell, both who posted 25.66 this morning, Killian Colvin's in there as well, Sam Winston, if he's not on his A game, there's plenty of men there that can easily turn him over if he wasn't on a going day.
Yeah, for sure. The 50s, they're such small margins that if you're off a little bit on a dive or a breakout, it can be the difference between a medal and not getting a position at all. So you have to make sure all those skills are nailed, ready and on to get the times that you're looking for.
Yeah, the swimmers now coming out onto their podium places here for the 50-metre butterfly final. Going through them one by one once they've all got to their position. Starting off over in the far side, Finlay Wright in lane 9 for Banbridge, the 18-year-old. In lane 0, closest to us, Conor Johnson from Kilkenny. 18, Dylan Registe from Lisburn is over in 8. In 1 is Brogan McAviney from Kilkenny. Conor FITZGERALD from Splash Road Sharks is in 7. Sam Winston from Aer Lingus is in 2. Killian Colvin from the local club NAC is in 6. Charlie Eatwell in 3 for Lards. Alex McClellan-Maher in NCL in 5. And Max McCusker, a man that is looking to double up this evening with 2 gold medals at the Irish Open Championships. He won the 100-metre freestyle. Can he add the 50-metre butterfly to the collection this evening? As it has been throughout the entire day, we'll be leaving you over to Andrew Bree to take us home for what will be a very fast way to finish off the Day 2 Irish Open Championships in the butterfly final.
All right, they're off now for the last final of Day 2 here at the National Championships. Look at that breakout from McCusker. Way ahead of the rest of the field as he comes through in a 9-point high in this 50 fly. There's nobody catching him. He was 23-point this morning. He's probably going to go at 23.6, 23.7 if he can hit that wall. 3 strokes to go. McCusker wins at 23.44. That's pretty slick. Second, who have we got? We got Conor FITZGERALD from Splash World on a 25.35. And then rounding out your top 3, Sam Winston on a 25.39. That's your top 3, very, very close. And ladies and gentlemen, keep those hands together, because as you see on the big board, that is a Irish senior record.
What a way to finish the evening here in the National Aquatic Centre. Max McCusker, he hasn't just won the 50-metre butterfly, he has broken the Irish senior record in the process, 23.44. He's beaten it by 0.21 of a second. What a performance from McCusker. The rest of them were all in a line, merely a second between 2nd to 10th, but he was 2 seconds ahead of them. It was almost like we were watching 2 polar opposite races. McCusker was just out in front, and what a performance to bring in the evening. An Irish senior record broken.
Yeah, what a way to finish off the evening. And, we've had 2 records, 2 Irish records today, an Irish junior record to start off the session and an Irish senior record to finish the session. What more can you want? That was a brilliantly executed race from Max McCusker there. You could really see off the dive, maximising those underwater kicks. He's training over in Florida State, over in America, where they're swimming short course yards, where you really have to have strong underwaters, and you really see him maximise those in that first 15 metres. A great breakout, and then he stayed nice and flat and got that high turnover, just finishing an Irish record, breaking Barry Murphy's record, which has stood for a long few years. Barry was an Irish Olympian, so to break that record, he's put himself in a good category there, and a brilliant swim by Max.
We're also going to be joined, hopefully in a second or two, by Max McCusker, who's just off the back of having won the 100-metre freestyle this evening and has won the 50-metre butterfly, but beating the Irish senior record in the process. Max, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Must be a pretty satisfactory night you've just had.
Yeah, it was solid. Thought 100 free was going to be a bit faster tonight, but obviously had the 50 fly afterwards and really wanted to focus on that and getting that record, so I was happy with that tonight.
And just off the back of breaking that Irish senior record, how much does that mean to you personally to go out in front of a crowd like this in the National Aquatic Centre and do that?
No, it's solid. I have my family here for the first time in a couple of years. All of them are here. My older sister's here, so it's been nice. I've been in training. I've been looking at that time. I realised 23.65, so this morning I didn't swim what I wanted to swim, but then came back tonight and I know I had it, so I didn't realise I'd beat it by that much, but I was really happy with that one.
And it just showed in the pool afterwards, you know, the excitement, I suppose the adrenaline rush of beating a record like that, all just coming, and all that hard work coming to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, that last little celebration, that's probably just all the caffeine flying through my body, so no, it's nice. You work it hard all year. I've had a couple of issues this year with my knees, and to get back and be able to do that I'm really happy with that, so it was solid for me.
And also just looking back at the 100 freestyle beforehand as well, it looked a deep race on paper, and you've won pretty impressively in the end as well.
Yeah, I just knew that I would like to have been around 49 low tonight, but I just knew that I wanted to win that race. So I had Callum on the right side of me, Jordan on the left, so I knew I had to get my hand on the wall first, so that was the main thing, was trying to win tonight and then follow it up with the 50 as well.
And that being said, you were the only man both in the heats and in the final to go sub 50 as well, so it must have been, even though as much as you would have maybe wanted a few seconds off that, it was still a very good time.
Yeah, it was solid. Obviously you got Jack missing from the field and Shane's been out with shoulder injury, and I want to get those boys back obviously to race, because all competition's good competition here. We're trying to bring all each other up and get solid relays, so they'll be back, and then we'll get racing all of us together, and it'll be a solid relay that we can put together.
It's a really busy summer for everyone here at Swim Ireland, and with obviously loads of competitions coming up. What are your big aspirations?
I mean, I've just swim as fast as I can here, set myself in good stead. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the coaches what they want to see me race in. Like, I can only swim as fast as I can here, and if they want to put me in the races, I'll swim in the races. But I've got my sights on international level competitions. I'm coming up now. I feel like I'm just breaking into the international level. I had my first international meet last year, so I'm just getting to the surface of it, but I want to keep having international meets, get the experience, and then come Paris I'll be ready for semi-finals and hopefully finals.
Thanks Max, best of luck for the summer.
And that brings us now into our final presentation, which is the men's 50 fly, where we had that Irish senior record from Max McCusker, which was a brilliant swim. As you mentioned, the previous record was held by Barry Murphy, and it was held since to Barry Murphy, an Irish Olympian in London in 2012, a brilliant sprinter. He was the Irish record holder previously to Max McCusker's 23.65, and Max time there of 23.44 goes under that, so a brilliant swim by Max, doubling up on his 100 freestyle victory earlier on in the session with a 50 fly. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with his evening's work. The guys are just getting on the podium now, and as you can see, in third place we had Sam Winston from Aer Lingus Swimming Club. It's a brilliant swim by him to get on that podium and get that medal. In second place we had Conor FITZGERALD, who was under that consideration standard for the 100 freestyle earlier on in the session, the 16-year-olds European Youth Olympics. He's under the consideration standard for the European Youth Olympics later on this summer, and what a talent he is, and definitely one for the future. And then Max McCusker, the man of the moment, with that Irish senior record in that 50 fly after his 100 freestyle victory. So fantastic performances all around this evening. 2 Irish records, an Irish junior record and an Irish senior record to finish us off. So great days of racing, and hopefully we'll see more to come. I think we'll pass now down to Andrew's on pool deck. He's looking to get some interviews with some of the swimmers. Maybe we might get to speak to Max there after his performances. So
yeah, the third heat, Louis Maguire in 0, Michael Keogh 1, Dara Lynch in 2, Charlie Eatwell in 3, man of the moment Max McCusker in 4, Ethan Hansen in 5, Conor FITZGERALD in 6, Finlay Wright in 7, Liam Ogue Mathers in 8, and Dennis O'Brien in 9. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. Max McCusker, the strongest qualifying time of these, with 54.34. They all need to be sub 55. They only want to be sub 56 for that matter as well. Ethan Hansen 56.39 in lane 5.
We have different styles here. Ethan was a medalist in the 200 fly on the day 1, and Max was obviously broke the Irish senior record last night in the 50 fly. So we'll have different styles here. Look at Max to take it out, and maybe Ethan to try and bring it back strong.
All right, now we're getting the sub 55 world here. McCusker's entered on 54.34. And he's up and at it, taking this one really controlled out, coming through in a 10 mid on that 25 fly. There's nothing between the rest of them. Hansen, Eatwell had a good 200 and a good 50. So he's about 4th right now. We got lanes 5 and 6, Hansen and Fitzgerald coming through. So McCusker turns at a 24.27. We got Fitzgerald on a 26.2. We have Hansen on a 26.5. Max now coming through. 37 seconds to the 75. He's got some speed. He could go sub 54 here if he holds on. He was out fast enough. His best is a 54.34. The guy's on fire this week, so let's see what happens. 52. Oh, that's impressive, folks. 52.85. Nice job. Hansen coming in nearly 4 seconds back on a 56.6. And then Fitzgerald from Splash World rounds out your top 3 with a 56.96.
And Max McCusker at the moment swimming like a man possessed, 52.85. And he's only within 0.2 of a second of a meet record there and 0.3 of a second of an Irish senior record for the second time this week.
Yeah, it's brilliant swimming from Max there this morning. That's also just off the European consideration standard, which is 52.74, so he'll be looking at that this evening. I mean, as I said earlier on in the week, when you're swimming with confidence, and he's clearly swimming with confidence, double goal last night, he's clearly on form. He looks so powerful in the water. His underwaters are really powerful, connected, and he's maximising the use of them, and he'll be looking to go faster than that hopefully this evening. But that's a brilliant swim from a man who's just swimming with confidence right now.
Final going to Thomas Leggett on this occasion, and that leads us on perfectly to the senior final of the men's 100 metre butterfly. This should be an absolute cracker. This morning, Max McCusker posting a time of 52.85. That senior record currently at 52.52. The meet record at 52.62. With the form he's in, you couldn't knock the chances of him potentially breaking a second record in 2 days. No, definitely. As I mentioned yesterday, a swimmer swimming with confidence after breaking records, winning gold championships, they start to believe that anything is possible. So he'll be going into this race. He'll know he won't necessarily be thinking about that outcome of the time. He'll have looked at the race footage. He'll have spoken with his coach. He'll identified a couple of areas, maybe only 1 or 2 things that he wants to tweak from this final. And then if he executes all this, I think he'll be right in and around Shane Ryan's Irish senior record of 52.52, which he set last year at the Olympic Games. So it should be really exciting. It's also worth noting that he was 0.11 off the consideration standard for the European Championships in this morning's swim, so he's already achieved that consideration standard in the 100 freestyle, but it definitely would be nice to add a 100 fly consideration standard to that. We also have Paddy Johnson, winner of the 200 fly. He's going to try his best to stay with Max on that first 50 and then try and bring it home as strong as he can. Yeah, another one that's going to be a very interesting tactical race, as the swimmers are coming out just behind you on your screens there behind the graphic. In lane 0 is Charlie Eatwell, the 17-year-old from Ards. In lane 1 is Alex McClellan-Marr from NCL. In lane 2 is Brogan McAvinny from Kilkenny, the 19-year-old. In 3 is Evan Bailey from New Ross. He swam very well this morning for 55.13. Max McCusker in lane 4 for Dolphin, 52.85 this morning. Paddy Johnson in 5 from Ards. Ethan Hansen in 6 for Trojan. Finn McGeever in 7 for NCL. Conor Fitzgerald for Splash World Sharks in 8. And Callum Ashton for UCD over in lane 9.
worth mentioning that we have Evan Bailey and Conor FITZGERALD in this race as well, who are both junior swimmers, who both had amazing 100 freestyles, both of them going 51 point, making consideration standards for the European juniors and EYOF, so they'll have that in their minds for this evening's 100 fly final as well.
Should be a cracker off to Andrew Bree for the final.
All right, folks, here we go. We could see another Irish senior record here. McCusker was a 52.85 this morning. The Irish senior record held by Brendan Highland is a 52.52. So I've made the prediction he's going to go 52.3. Let's see what he can do. He was out in a 24.27, and he's going to be right on that at the 50-meter mark. 24.21, so he's slightly under, but he's going to have to hustle back. He brought it home in a 28.58. Second beside him, Paddy Johnson from Ards on a 24.94. But it's McCusker now through the 75.37 low all the way through. Is he going to go an Irish senior record? Keep your eyes on the clock. Keep your eyes on the swimmers, but then the clock. 52.52 is the Irish senior record. Willie's tying up a wee bit. He's tying up. Does he do it? Ooh, just over, ladies and gentlemen. That's a new meet record, but just outside the Irish record. Nice job, Max. 52.63 wins it. Paddy Johnson, nice time as well. 53.29. And then in third, Evan Bailey, 54.76. Good job, Butterflies.
Another brilliant swim from Max McCusker. He takes home another gold in the 100-meter fly at 52.63, bettering his time this morning, just outside the Irish senior record by 0.1 of a second. Just goes to show the fine margins. Paddy Johnson, a massive swim from him as well, 53.29, improving this morning by a second. And Evan Bailey, the youngster from New Ross, 54.76, breaking the 55-second barrier as well in third. Three smashing swims.
Yeah, that's brilliant swimming all around from those three guys. Where to even start with that? Max was amazing. He's got such strong underwaters. He looked like he had carrying so much easy speed to that first 50. He looked so comfortable, so controlled, turning in that 24.21, which is the exact same pretty much as he turned this morning. He came off that wall, he popped up at 10 metres after some strong underwaters, and he picked up his rate, and he was really driving through. You could definitely feel like the lactate was building in him in the last 10 metres. He was tying up slightly, but it's a great swim, and that's a European consideration standard. It's just off the Irish senior record, but a great swim and another consideration time for him for the European Championships. And Paddy was coming back really strong on that second 50, like we said, using that 200 fly speciality. I think he actually had a faster split on the second 50 than Max, but Max had done enough on that first 50. And as you mentioned, 54.4, a junior swimmer, Evan Bailey from New Ross. His coach, Fran Monan, will be delighted with that. That's another consideration standard for the European Junior Championships. So amazing swimming from those three guys, and a great race to watch. They'll be sore now getting out of the pool. They'll be getting into the swimming pool trying to flush out that lactic acid, but great swimming from them.
I have to think she's got a great chance of adding to her tally there.
Yeah, again, as we said, in the same vein with Max, swimming with confidence, swimming fast, it means an awful lot. So you'd be a brave person to bet against Danielle in this 50 fly and coming up in a few minutes. She'll have been swimming down well in between these races. She'll have been getting her recovery on point, and she can still see she has her hat and goggles on, so she's ready to go again in the next couple of minutes. She has a bit of time because we have an 800 freestyle coming up after this, the fastest heat of that, so that gives her a little bit of extra time to recover before that 50 fly, but it'll be exciting to watch her in the water again soon.
Indeed, and we're going to now have the presentations for the 100-meter butterfly for the men's, won by Max McCusker, adding to his double salvo yesterday. First of all, going to be presented his bronze medal is Evan Bailey, the 17-year-old from New Ross. A really good swim, one to be very happy about, and plenty of good things to come from him. He had a productive short course championships before Christmas. Paddy Johnson in second as well, and the two of them really, you know, you don't get a race without two or three very good swims in those centre lanes.
No, it's that competition between swimmers breeds success, and so good to have that competition. Paddy, I think, was just trying to hold on to Max, who has that real easy natural speed, having swam short course yards for the last 4 years over in America. He really has that natural speed, and Paddy was able to hold on to him, and then utilise his 200 fly training to bring him home really strong in that second 50. And look, you can't forget about Evan Bailey there in third, picking up his bronze medal. He's a really exciting junior talent coming up, 100 freestyle, 100 fly, and he'll be going to European Juniors this summer and looking to improve on all those times that he did here this week and keep moving forward as he's progressing. It's that transition going from a junior to a senior athlete can be quite tough, so he's always looking to keep moving those times on. And as we're speaking about relays, he's definitely one to watch for the future, for looking on to get on Irish relays, that 4x1 freestyles. So exciting times coming ahead faster than that.
You've got to time it, don't you, to the wall. It's especially in a 50, as I said, one rotation of the arm can lose it. If you cruise in, you can lose it as well.
Yeah, you want to just literally on that full stroke hit that wall, get that touch, because you'll move down the rankings very quickly if you don't nail that finish in a 50. There's nothing between these top guys.
Don't think Darragh Lynch is out in lane 8 looking across the pool. And that's your lineup then for heat 4 of 5 in the men's 50 free.
All right, here we go, heating up nicely now. We got Thompson there, McCusker and Paul in the middle. But it is Max McCusker, another straight armour. Davy Thompson almost through. 9 highs again. No breathing for these guys. Absolutely no breath for these guys. McCusker just in front, but Thompson's coming back. Thompson's moving on the last 5. Let's see what they're going to go. 22. Nice swim, gentlemen. 22.91. McCusker, the only man under 23. Thompson just over. He was catching, though, 23.39. And then Robbie Powell on a 23.99.
Looking for title number 4 this week, Max McCusker, who did swim for Britain at one stage, declared for Ireland, swimming out in the US at the moment. Again, another one of those, as Andrew described it, a straight arm swimmer.
Yeah, really powerful stroke there from Max. You can see his time from the States are paying off. He's got such strong underwaters. Sometimes you don't see those 50 freestylers using all of that 15 meters, but Max really utilising his underwater strength from the States there, and a really strong 50 freestyle. He took one breath with about 7 meters to go, so maybe this evening he might look at that and try and see if he can do the full 50, no breath.
It'll be quicker and maybe even closer. Callum Bain is going in the centre lane, and he is the fastest qualifier into this final, the men's 50 free, 22.70. The man from Cookstown, 26 years of age. David Thompson's 29. This is the point I was making, is that some of the older swimmers are making finals in this kind of race, the 50 free.
Yeah, exactly. Callum, David Thompson, Tom Fannin and Max are all not old, but a little bit older for the swimming standard, so it really is like Callum and Tom especially are real 50 freestyle specialists. That is what they do. That is all of their training is based around how can I swim from A to B, one length of the pool as fast as possible. So it'll be really interesting to see those two guys go head to head. Tom has represented England at Commonwealth Games in 2018, now eligible to represent Ireland, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do in this final.
You won't see him a shot just yet, because they're making a way down the right hand side of the pool before they commit to shot, and down at the far end of the pool is where they'll stand on the blocks. So this is our lineup then for the final of the men's 50 free. 9 is Conor FITZGERALD. In lane 0 it's Robbie Powell, a 22-year-old. Lane number 8, Andrew Moore. National Centre in Dublin. He's in lane 8. Evan Bailey, seen his sister in action in the junior final early on in the 200 freestyle. Evan Bailey goes in 1. In 7, Thomas Leggett of Larne, the 18-year-old. Lane 2, the oldest competitor in the final, the 29-year-old from the National Centre of Ulster, David Thompson. Lane 6, Dermot Sutton, National Centre of Limerick. Max McCusker. Here, McCusker's now got 3 medals this week. He's looking for a 4th in this final. And Tom Fannin in 5. And then we got the fastest qualifier, Callum Bain. Max McCusker swam for GB at one stage. He's now in Florida State University, declared for Ireland. And he's at 23 years of age. He's getting quicker now. He's getting older.
Yeah, he's in fine form. Breaking that Irish senior record, which stood since 2013 in that 50 fly, was really impressive. He's really using his experience from swimming over stateside in NCAAs, which is all about having good underwaters. He's so powerful through that first 15 meters. His rate is actually a little bit lower than some of these other boys in this race, but he just holds so much water. So this should be really exciting, and I've been looking forward to this one all evening.
Splash and dash final, the men's 50 free.
All right, they call this the blue ribbon event of the Olympics. They're up and at it. I like the breakout. Custer's looking pretty good. Bain's fastest in on a 22.7. It's anyone's game. The three of them are separating themselves from the rest of the field. I'm running sideways. Fannon's coming through with those long arms. It's going to be Fannon. He's going to hit the wall. Fannon and Bain hits the wall. 22.32. What an impressive swim just outside Barry Murphy's record of a 22.1. Put your hands together. That's some serious speed, folks. 22.32 wins it. Second place over in lane number 3. McCusker, he had a great breakout. And then Bain from Cookstown coming through on a 22.63. Nice to see a stack of sub-23 swimmers there. Nice job.
I thought Conor FITZGERALD had 9, jumped in early, but he's up on the board. He's down 10th place, but it seemed like he stopped swimming. Probably realised that he'd actually jumped. Yeah, he's gone. Disqualified. He got in early. Poor old Conor. All the work you do when you get into a final, a 16-year-old, and you jump in early. But anyway, he wasn't to affect the 1, 2, 3. You mentioned Tom Fannon declaring for Ireland now at 24, at 22.32. That's an impressive 50.
Yes, that's an Irish open meet record, so brilliant swimming from Tom. That lead changed 3 times in that race. Max was ahead once he came up to that breakout, and I thought it was his race, and then Callum seemed to swim over the other 2 guys in that middle section of the race, but Tom got his head down the last 50 meters and got that touch. So brilliant swimming for all 3 of those guys.
Gold, silver, bronze. Tom Fannon, Max McCusker and Callum Bain content with that bronze medal. Yeah, splash and dash living up to its name. A couple of swimmers under the 23 seconds there. And Max McCusker denied a 4th title, but he'll take 3 national titles and a silver.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's had a fine week of racing, or fine 5 days of racing, picking up all those medals and an Irish senior record to cap it off in that 50 fly. He's had a great couple of days, and that's Tom and Callum is that's their main event. That's that 50 freestyle, as I said. That's the one that they've been building to. It can seem like that's the only race actually Tom has swam. He's been building toward that all week, getting ready. I saw him at the end of one of the sessions earlier in the week, practicing his breakouts, his diving breakouts, and that high rate. So he's been building to that all week, and got the touch in 22.32 ahead of Max and Callum.
We'll wait for that. Just a couple of questions for you, Nicholas. What's impressed you this week? I know it's your first time doing some commentary with us here on the Swim Ireland YouTube channel. It's been a good week we've seen so far. What's impressed you?
Yeah, it's a very different view from doing the commentary than when you're racing. I think when you're racing, you actually don't see an awful lot of swimming that's going on. So to be here and to be able to watch all the racing has been a really great experience for me. And it's really hard to look past those Irish senior records. Danielle Hill breaking that 55 barrier in that 100 freestyle is a really, really strong swim. She said in her interview after that race that she wasn't quite sure where she was in her preparations coming into this meet. She's obviously pre-qualified for the Commonwealth Games and the European Championships, but to go sub 55, the first Irish woman to go sub 55 is a really, really strong performance, and it just points that there's going to be really good things for her to come throughout the summer in her major meets. And we can now see the boys have made their way onto the podium, and the bronze medalist there we actually have 4 guys on the podium here.
Yeah, it's a little confusing here.
So I think Tom Fannon is on the podium, but Andrew Moore is picking up a bronze medal because he's an Irish-based athlete. Tom is in the process of becoming eligible to swim for Ireland. He's based in the National Centre here in Dublin, so he's getting a commemorative medal, but he will be eligible over the summer to swim for Ireland. So picking up the bronze medal was Andrew Moore, swimming at the centre here in Dublin. And then the silver medalist, you had Callum Bain from Cookstown, a really strong swim from him. And then we have our 2 gold medalists in Max McCusker and Tom Fannin.
McCusker looks a little bemused, doesn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
He's going, what's happening here? Anyway, well done, Tom. Well done, Max.
And Tom is just getting his cert there for his meet record in that 50 freestyle as well. So really
everyone's a winner. Everyone's
a winner, exactly.
So next presentation then will be for the. I'm looking at the wrong sheet here. It should be the 200. Well, we have both of them actually. They're done.
Yeah.
So the next presentation will be the 50 back.